Hey everyone, and welcome back.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the holidays, and I'm really excited to dive into something super important today.
Yeah.
Pet safety.
Yes.
We're going to be basing this whole deep dive on an article from the Blue Buffalo website.
Great source.
Yeah, they're pretty much the experts when it comes to our furry friends, so I'm feeling good about this.
Yeah.
And really, who doesn't want to keep their pets happy and healthy while we're, off celebrating, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. The article kind of blew my mind. There are so many, hidden dangers
Oh, yeah.
in our holiday traditions, stuff we don't even think about.
It's true. We get so caught up in all the festivities and everything that we forget that our pets experience the holidays so differently than we do.
Yeah.
And what we see as festive cheer can actually be really dangerous for them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so that already has me kind of rethinking things. So let's start with, I guess, the most obvious one, food.
Yes.
The article talks about these food faux pas, and I'm guessing it's not just about, overfeeding them.
Right. It goes a little deeper than that. Dogs and cats, their systems, metabolize foods very differently than us.
Okay.
So something that's perfectly fine for us to eat can be really toxic to them.
Really?
Yeah, like avocados, for example.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We love guacamole, right?
Sure.
But for dogs, especially certain varieties like the Guatemalan avocado,
All right.
it contains a compound called persin, and it can be really harmful to them.
The Guatemalan avocado. Wow. Okay, see, this is the kind of detail I would never, ever know. So what other foods should we be, on the lookout for?
Well, grapes and raisins are a big one that kind of surprises people.
Really?
Yeah.
They seem harmless enough.
Right, you would think.
Yeah.
But they can actually cause kidney failure in both dogs and cats.
Wow.
And then there's bones.
Oh, yeah, we give our dog bones all the time.
Well, you have to be careful because especially cooked bones, like poultry bones, can splinter
Ah,
and cause a lot of damage in their digestive tract.
that makes sense. Bones always seem like a natural thing for dogs. I guess not all bones are created equal.
Exactly.
And speaking of things we think are natural, the article also talks about moldy food. It's the holidays, things get kind of shoved to the back of the fridge.
Exactly. It's so easy to overlook that.
Yeah.
Like an old piece of bread or fruit.
Right.
But mold can contain toxins called mycotoxins.
Oh.
And it can cause tremors, seizures, all sorts of neurological problems.
Okay. You're really making me rethink, what I'm leaving out on the counter.
Yeah.
But it's not just about what we do right. We need to make sure our guests know the rules, too.
Right. Communication is key.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who might not be as familiar with pets might not think twice about sharing some holiday treats.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the obvious, food dangers lurking right there on the table.
Yeah.
But the article also mentions something called silent but deadly threats.
Uh-huh.
What are those all about?
Well, that's where we get into the hidden dangers, the things that we might not think are an issue.
Okay.
So a big one is xylitol.
Xylitol.
Yeah, it's an artificial sweetener.
Right.
It's found in a lot of sugar-free goodies.
Oh, like gum and candy and stuff like that.
Exactly. But it is super dangerous for dogs
Okay.
because it triggers this massive release of insulin,
Wow.
and it can cause their blood sugar to plummet really quickly.
Xylitol. I've seen that on ingredient lists.
Yeah.
But I never really knew it was so dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much already from this deep dive.
It's all about being aware.
Okay, so let's say, despite our best efforts, our pet does manage to get into something they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
What should we be looking for? What are the signs that something's wrong?
You have to know those warning signs. So if your pet suddenly starts vomiting,
Okay.
or loses their appetite, or is really lethargic, like they don't have any energy, or if there are changes in their bathroom habits.
Oh, okay.
Those are all red flags.
Got it.
That means they could be showing signs of poisoning. Oh, no.
You have to act fast.
Okay, so those are the key things to watch for. But what do we do if we see those signs?
You call your vet right away.
Immediately.
Yeah. Time is of the essence in those situations.
Okay, that makes sense. And I know there are some hotlines for pet poisoning too, right?
Absolutely.
For those moments when you're panicking and don't know what to do.
Yeah, the Pet Poison Helpline and the ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center.
Okay.
Those are great resources.
That's good.
They have experts available 24/7.
Wow.
They can guide you through the situation.
I am adding those to my contacts right now. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on food, which makes sense. It's a big part of the holidays.
Yeah.
But the article also mentions that holiday decorations can be dangerous too.
Oh.
I mean, I know my cat loves batting at shiny ornaments, but What else should we be on the lookout for?
You're right about that. Those sparkly decorations can be really tempting,
Oh,
but they can also be really dangerous.
okay.
I mean, think about it. A cat batting at a glass ornament, a dog chewing on some ribbon.
It's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, and it's not just about choking hazards either, like that ribbon, for example.
Right.
It seems harmless enough, but if they swallow it,
Oh.
it can actually get tangled up in their intestines,
Oh, wow.
cause a blockage,
Really?
which can be life-threatening.
Wow, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Ribbon always seems so innocent, just part of the pretty packaging. So besides the obvious, breakable stuff or choking hazards, what specific decorations should we be extra careful about?
Well, one of the biggest culprits is actually mistletoe.
Mistletoe. Really?
Yeah, we hang it up for holiday kisses, but for pets, it's super toxic.
What?
Yeah, it can cause gastrointestinal upset breathing problems, even low blood pressure.
Seriously. Mistletoe. I always thought it was just for awkward, holiday smooches under the doorway. See, this is why I love these deep dives.
Yeah.
You uncover the hidden dangers in everyday things.
Well, those beautiful poinsettias, too, that we like to put around.
Yeah, that's so pretty.
They can be a problem, too.
Okay.
They're not as toxic as mistletoe, but they do contain a sap that can irritate their skin and their stomach, lead to vomiting and diarrhea.
Okay, so mistletoe is a definite no-go. Poinsettias, maybe, depending on your pet's personality. What about tinsel? It's so sparkly and tempting, especially for cats.
Yeah, tinsel is a major hazard.
Is it?
It's so light and shimmery that it's like almost irresistible.
Yeah, they love that stuff.
But if they ingest it, it can wreak havoc on their digestive system.
Okay.
It's like this long, stringy mess that can get all bunched up and obstruct their intestines.
So tinsel's off the list, too.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a theme here, sparkly and dangerous.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about pine needles? From our Christmas trees, are those a problem, too?
They can be. Pine needles might seem harmless, but those sharp little things can irritate their mouth and their stomach if they swallow them. And the oils from pine trees can also be irritating to their skin.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to approach decorating for the holidays with like a whole new mindset when we have pets. It's like pet proofing, but for holiday cheer.
You said it perfectly. It's about creating a festive environment that's safe and enjoyable for everybody. And it's not just about what we put up, it's also about what we leave out.
That's a good point. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about what we can do to create a truly pet-friendly holiday environment. The article mentions having safe, pet-specific treats on hand.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So one of the best ways to prevent them from getting into trouble with our food is to have a stash of their favorite treats ready.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So when they're giving you those puppy dog eyes at the dinner table, you can redirect their attention.
That's such a smart idea. It's like having a distraction plan for those moments of temptation.
Yeah.
So what else can we do to make our homes more pet-friendly during the holidays?
Well, sometimes the simplest things are the most effective, like just getting down on their level and seeing the world from their perspective.
Oh, interesting.
Crawl around on the floor, explore your house through their eyes. You'd be amazed at what you might find. A loose electrical cord, a dangling ornament, something under the sink.
Wow. I'm going to do that tonight.
Yeah.
I bet I'll be surprised at what I find. It's amazing how we can overlook things just because we're used to seeing the world from our own height.
It's true.
That's such a simple but brilliant tip.
It's all about shifting our perspective.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing process as our pets grow, our homes change, so do the potential hazards.
That's true.
So those regular checks and adjustments are key.
Wow. You've given us so much to think about today.
Mm,
I feel like I'm looking at the holidays with like a whole new set of eyes.
good.
Before we move on to part 3, is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind when it comes to keeping their pets safe during the holidays?
Yeah, one thing that's often overlooked is that our pets thrive on routine.
Right.
And the holidays can really disrupt that. All the excitement, guests coming and going, changes to their environment.
Yeah.
That can cause stress and anxiety.
That's so true. My dog gets super anxious when we have people over. He starts barking and hiding. So what can we do to help our pets kind of cope with all that added stress?
Well, I think the key is to try to maintain as much of their routine as possible.
Right.
Stick to their regular feeding schedule, walking schedule,
Got it.
and provide them with a safe and quiet space where they can retreat if they feel overwhelmed.
Okay.
You can also use calming aids like pheromone diffusers or calming treats.
It's amazing how much there is to learn about keeping our pets safe during the holidays. I feel like I've been looking at everything so differently.
Yeah, it's easy to focus on the obvious, but those hidden hazards are the things that can really catch you off guard.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating to me is how much of it is just understanding our pet's perspective.
Right.
They experience the world so differently from us. And what seems totally normal to us can be really stressful or even dangerous for them.
Absolutely. If you really tune into their senses, their curiosity, their vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
you can create a much safer and happier holiday for them.
You mentioned earlier that maintaining their routine as much as possible is key to managing that holiday stress.
Mhm.
Are there any other specific things that we can do to help them stay calm?
One thing that people don't always think about is giving them a safe haven,
Okay.
like a quiet space where they can retreat from all the craziness. It could be their crate, a cozy bed in a quiet room, even just a corner
Right.
that they know they can go to when they just need a break.
That's a really good point. It's like giving them an escape route when things get overwhelming.
Exactly.
And even we humans need a break from the holiday chaos sometimes.
And remember, our pets pick up on our energy.
Oh, that's true.
So if we're stressed, they're going to feel it too.
So true. A calm owner equals a calm pet.
Exactly.
It's all connected. So I'm curious, from all the information we've talked about today, what would you say is the most important takeaway for pet owners?
I would say the most important thing is just to be mindful. Pay attention to your pet's behavior. Be aware of your environment and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Whether it's your vet, the pet poison helpline, or a trusted pet sitter, there are resources out there to help you keep your furry friend safe and happy all season long.
That's a great reminder. We're not alone in this whole pet parent thing, and there's no shame in asking for help when we need it. I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Huge thank you to our expert for sharing all of this incredible advice and tips today. I feel so much more prepared to tackle the holidays now.
My pleasure.
And to all our listeners, we wish you and your furry friends a happy, safe, and wonderful holiday season.
Happy holidays.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll be back soon with more fascinating topics to explore. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and cherish those furry friends who make our lives so much richer.